so cute to me because I'm a complete stranger. So I haven't got the same feelings that the photographer would have. So I'm looking at it purely as a competition photograph. And there's a couple of things in here, albeit it's a beautiful picture, there's a couple of things in here which detract from it being a really good picture. The background is a bit cluttered here. You know, you've got this sign on the wall here, this stuff here, and that detracts from the child. You've also cut his hand off here. You know, that's really, you know, you should try and avoid that. Shoot wider, and then you won't cut hands off. You've even got a bit tight on his arm here, and that's a real shame. It looks like it looks like you've cropped it. I don't know whether that's the way it came out of the camera, but it looks, you know, very sort of narrow, doesn't it? It looks like maybe a 16:9 range rather than a, you know, 4:5 or 3:4, which is quite normal. Yeah, nice kid, beautiful expression. I think it's just unfortunate about the hands. This arm being chopped off, and you know the background. The lighting as well is a bit flat. You know, you probably weren't under. You didn't have any control over the light. It's probably available light, but it's a bit flat on his face, and it would have been nicer if the light was a bit more directional. You know, coming from the side. Right, for this one, 15, please. Dandelion, yeah. It's got a dandelion, and it looks like it's losing some of its, what do they call those things?
Seeds.
Seeds, yeah. Dandelion seeds, yeah, they're flying in the air. See quite a lot of these recently, and I saw a really good one in the Southern Fed League last year, an excellent close-up of a dandelion seed head, and it was very, very powerful, pin sharp, and it didn't have the seeds flying off it, but it was a very strong image. This one is creative, I think. I think you've got the dandelion itself in the right position in the frame, but it's nice to see those seed heads flying off, albeit, you know, I would have liked to have seen more, and I think I would have liked to have seen them in a bit sharper and a bit more lit. You know, they're not very well lit, are they? And that's a bit of a shame. Nice black background. That's obviously purposely done. It's probably done on a kitchen counter, I would imagine, maybe. And it's a sort of a home studio shot, I think. Quite nice lighting on the dandelion itself. So you've got light coming from the right, and you've got a nice shadow on the left-hand side. I think I just would have liked to have seen a bit more detail in the seed head themselves when they're flying off into the distance. So another 15 for this one, please. Catch me if you can, yeah. I wouldn't be able to catch him. Beautiful dogs these. My sister had one of these. My sister, her husband was in the police force, and he used to be in the dog section, so they'd have one of these for maybe 2 or 3 years at a time, and they get really, really attached to them, and then they've got to go, or you know, they go somewhere else, or they get, you know, die or whatever. So it's quite emotional having a dog, isn't it? This one's a beautiful Alsatian, or German Shepherd, I think they're called now, aren't they? Yeah. Lovely dog. And you caught him in full flow, haven't you? You've got him, you know, with his, I think at least 3 of his legs off the ground, and his tail nicely in the air there. And you've done a good job there. A thing that lets it down slightly is it's very tightly cropped, isn't it? You know, there's nothing for him to sort of run into. You've got a lot of, albeit slightly out of focus background here, which is a bit of a, it really catches the eye a bit, doesn't it? But I'm afraid the dog itself isn't really very sharp in focus, so that's the way it appears to me. It could have been sharper in focus. Now, I remember we've seen some other pictures, probably from the same member, of 2 other Alsatians, so you probably put 3 Alsatian pictures into the competition. This one, having remembered the other 2, this one isn't the strongest, I don't think. Albeit you've got it in pretty good motion. It really lacks a bit of sharpness, I think, and it's a bit tight in the frame. Another 15, please. Bird of prey, yeah. great opportunities for taking pictures of birds of prey around this part of the country, and you know, go out there and take them. That's fantastic. A beautiful bird of prey. I don't know what it is. It's falconess in me. I'm not really an expert in these. What I like is the look of the bird. You've actually got the bird looking towards the camera, which is great. Beautiful out of focus background here, and you've got sort of bokeh. That's what a Japanese word for, you know, out of focus highlights in the background. Bokeh or bokeh, they might call it in this country, which is really good. And you know, you've got a nice wide open aperture there to give you that pocket in the background. The bird itself, I feel it's sitting a bit low in the frame. I would have liked to have seen more of it, or less of it. You know, if you're going to crop it, you know, that's not a very good place to crop it. You know, just along the top of the wing. I would have, if I was going to crop it, I'd crop it, you know, here. If you're going to crop it really tight, or you know, or really you know, down here somewhere. Unfortunately, the light is probably in a forest or a wooded area of the park here, and the lighting on the bird isn't the best. Unfortunately, you've got some really high lighting here, but on other parts of the interesting parts of the bird, it's quite dark. So under here, we can't really see a lot of detail in the feathers from where I'm standing, and you know, this eye is almost completely black. So you've suffered by, you know, unfortunately, bad lighting. You've got some highlights on the feathers here, and yet the rest of the feathers are quite dark. So the lighting really didn't help you there, I'm afraid. In terms of score, I think this one is a 14, please. Right back and loosh. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Something to do with the swimming pool, I think. Interesting picture, and that's what I like. You know, it's different, isn't it? It gives you a different perspective on life, and the photographers put some thought into this. It looks like it could be, you know, from the bottom of a bottle or something. Is a loosh a bottle of some kind? I don't know. But it looks like you're looking into maybe a swimming pool, or that's the effect it gives, sort of this watery effect here. But for me, to be honest, it's a bit of a puzzle. I love puzzles, quite like puddles as well, actually. But it could be a wine carafe, couldn't it? Looking, you know, into a wine carafe from the top. You know, you've got a narrow neck here going into a sort of a wide base. I haven't got a clue what it is, so I don't want to guess. But I'm not really sure what the background is. You know, could be a swimming pool. Is this a person? I don't know. Is this the side of the pool? Are these chairs up here? I don't know. The title mystifies me, and the picture asks quite a few questions, which I think is good. It's good to give the viewer a challenge, isn't it? It's not, you know, it's not a bird on a stick. It's something that makes you think, and you know, good for doing that. But I'm still a bit confused. In terms of the score, yeah, great effort, great for coming up with something different. Is it interesting? It's not too interesting for me, to be honest with you, because I can't understand it. That's just probably my naivety, my lack of knowledge of this subject. In terms of score, let's go for a 15, please. Cable car tower, yeah. Don't get many of these round Reading, do you? No. Yeah, so you're away, I guess, on holiday, perhaps. You're in the mountains somewhere, presumably. Maybe in Scotland or Wales, or on the continent, or in North America. I've got no idea. And you see this cable car tower, and you've got to take a picture of it. And I think you've done a good job of taking a picture of the tower itself. Once again, you've got some quite high, harsh lighting here. The sun is just about here somewhere. But you've managed to avoid it, so you haven't got any real blown-out highlights here. And you've got some nice detail in the tower itself, all the metalwork, and you know, the wires going over here. You've got some sun effects here, so you've got light bouncing around the lens, and you've got these circles appearing in the image as well. As a picture, you know, you've done a good job of taking a picture of the tower, but for me, it really doesn't have the interest that I'm really looking for tonight, unfortunately. Positionally, it's good. I don't think you could have taken a better picture of that tower, but for me, it just really isn't interesting enough. You know, it's flat. There's a little colour depth in it. It's all sort of it's almost a monotone picture, isn't it? You know, sort of pale blue and grey. 15, please. Dead tree. Yeah, it certainly is dead. It's like the Monty Python sketch, isn't it? Yes, it's a parrot. Yeah, it certainly is a dead tree, and you've got it, you know, nicely detailed. You've got a lovely sky. You're lucky enough to have a beautiful blue sky with some nice fluffy white clouds, and this dead old tree sticking in the middle, which is it's almost standing up. This almost looks like a person with the arms sticking out, isn't it? Sometimes you can get trees looking like individual, looking like a human form at times. And then we've got this sort of looks like a hedge at the bottom here. You know, the colours in it are nice of the sky. The tree is well captured, but it really isn't very interesting, is it? I think the clouds in the background are more interesting than the actual tree. So if that had been mine, I would have just gone to the right a bit and taken some pictures of the clouds rather than the tree, because it's a bit dead, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of the mark, I would think 14 for that one, please. This is better. The lighting here is much more subtle, isn't it? You know, it looks like it's early morning. The wind hasn't got up yet, so the lake is still, you know, fairly flat. You've got a very slight ripple in the water here, but it's very soft light, isn't it? The sun is just starting to come over the horizon here. It's just lighting up the tops of these trees here. You see how they reflect in the water here, which is great. You've got some nice lighting, side lighting on this here, and dark contrasts on the right hand side there. So this side lighting gives you lots of definition. You know, you've got the highlight and you've got the shadow. The light defines the picture, but the shadows give it depth as well. So you're really lucky there. This is a really nice image. Like some others, I think it could have done with some other interests though. Now, within the picture, there's one thing I'm looking at, and that's this blue thing. It's probably a car or a boat or something over here. That's catching my eye, but really, I shouldn't be looking at that. I should be looking at something within here, maybe some ducks or swans or a boat or something. You know, it would have been nice just to have something else in the image here, just to catch the eye. You've done a really good job of the lighting. The reflections are great, aren't they? I think the reflections in the water are much more attractive, much more interesting than the actual trees in the sky, because they've got the bright sky behind them. As an image, it's very nice. How can I improve it though? If it was mine, that blue there really does catch the eye, and I would have done something. I would have got rid of that. Either cropped it out, or maybe just cloned it out. And there's a thing down here, you know. Whenever you're looking at your image, look around the edges, because if a judge sees something either very dark or very light on the very edge, it catches the eye, and he's going to make a comment about that. So if this had been mine, I would have got rid of that. Probably that there as well, because they just do catch the eye. Yeah, nice lighting, nice reflections. 16, please. Yeah. You don't see many of these, do you? Eh? This is different. Yeah, good for you. You've taken a nice picture, interesting. They look like triplets, don't they? I suppose there's probably 10 of them all there on the sow. And look how they appear to have their eyes closed. You can imagine them sucking away with their eyes closed, can't you? But the colours are beautiful. It's nicely in focus, and you've got some detail of the sow here as well, which is nice. So you're not just looking at the little piglets, 3 little piglets. You know, judges do like things in threes, don't they? They like odd numbers, ones, threes, fives and sevens, don't they? That's apparently. But this one is a very nice picture, and we'll hold this one back, please. Morgan, yeah. One of my favourite cars. I'll never be well off enough to own one, but that's a beautiful car. And I think you caught it really well. I like the logo, and I love the lighting on this as well. It's subtle, isn't it? It's not harsh, you know, midday lighting. It's very subtle lighting. It's quite dark, in fact, isn't it? So even though you've got some bright chrome here, you know, if this was out in the open, you'd have, you know, really specular highlights on the chrome down here as well and on here. But here it's all subdued, even though it does appear to be in the daylight, because it looks like you've got a reflection of the sky here. So it looks like it was quite a sunny day, and in fact you can see clouds in the reflection here. So you've done really well to keep the highlights down and the shadows up. And there's some nice detail here as well, some nice reflections down here, which just help to give more interest and detail in the picture. I've got a friend whose father's just bought he's bought the three-wheel version, and he's got a house down in the south of France, and he's just taken ill actually, so he's up in the UK having some treatment while his three-wheeler Morgan that he paid a lot of money for is down in the south of France in a garage somewhere. Yeah, beautiful picture, and I think we'll hold this one back, please. Night out, yeah. Night out on the town, eh? Great. Yeah, these pictures, I like these. I used to do wedding photography many years ago, and this is sort of the pack shot, you know. You always had to get a picture of the bride looking in the mirror. And quite often, as well as using a mirror like this, I'd use a small hand mirror, so you can get a really close-up picture of the bride or the, you know, whatever, the bridesmaid, and a picture of her face in the mirror as well. So this is quite nice, and I like the way she's putting her makeup on. I like the expression on her face as well, and you know, just sort of she's concentrating, isn't it? She didn't want to smudge that eyeliner or whatever it is, mascara she's putting on, and it's very nice. And we can just see the side of her face here, can't we? Which is nice. I like the way you've got them positioned in the frame. You know, she's actually, you know, looking at herself here, and I like that balance of the picture. Not sure what this is at the top here. I think that's probably the wall above the mirror, and you might want to think about, you know, it's very nice, isn't it? And it's not too harsh. It's quite subdued, and you've got these two people. It's probably I'm just guessing again here. I shouldn't do that, but it's probably one of these ploughing competitions. It looks like, and they're probably looking at a team of horses or a single horse or maybe a tractor, you know, in this ploughing competition. And for me, it's a real shame that they've got the backs to the camera, because, you know, if you want to ignore someone, you turn your back to them, don't you? Yeah? And I think that's, you know, for me, that's what lets this picture down. And I much prefer to see people's faces than their backs. They're just more interesting. From here, I can't really this looks like a guy and this was a girl, probably. But it would be nice, or it could be two women, I don't know. Yeah, maybe the one on the left is a woman. It's not important, but it would be nice to see the faces, I think. You've got all of the ingredients there to make a perfect picture. And you've got beautiful light, you've got the cornfield that's just been cut recently, you've got a beautiful brown in the background, but I really would like to see their faces, to be honest with you. Some people might not agree, but that would just bring the image to life for me. But yeah, it's captured nicely. They're positioned really nicely in the frame, and you've done a good job. I just wish I could see their faces. Another 16, please. World Water Tower. Yeah. Lots of things going on here with the tractor thing in the back. I don't know whether it's got a shovel on the end of there. I don't know whether he's taking it down or putting soil in there or what. Certainly got a nice old tower here. It's a pity like this bin over here, though, isn't it? Because that's not very pretty to look at, is it? But the colours are nice, the lighting is quite nice. It is sort of overhead, but it's sort of fairly muted, isn't it? It's not very harsh lighting. Maybe the texture of the bricks is actually soaking up some of the light, so you're not getting any bright highlights coming off them. If it had been mine, I would have liked to have seen more of this truck here, this tractor vehicle over here, and less of the bin. So if the picture that I would have liked to have seen would have been the tower, yeah, but I would have liked to have seen that truck vehicle there. And what it's actually doing, is he tearing something down? It looks like it's tearing down some of the banking here, yeah? So it's pulling down. You can see the teeth that the bucket is used to claw the earth away. And I think that would have given us a bit more interest. Certainly more interest than here. So, you know, when you go to a scene like this, and this, you know, you might have travelled, you know, 2 hours to get to this place to see this beautiful old tower. You take a lot of pictures, and if you've got a camera and a tripod, for example, and that's what I recommend. Always, you know, if you can, take a tripod. You're going to get a much sharper image. But the first place you put your tripod down to take this picture is probably the worst place. So you need to scout the scene. You need to look at the scene and look at it from different angles. So if it was me, I'd walk to the right for maybe 10 or 20 yards to get a different perspective. Maybe coming from here, so you can see the vehicle and you can see the tower as well, and you can maybe obscure this bin. Yeah, you've got ingredients there for a really nice picture, but it just spoiled for me by the bin and the half a vehicle here. 15, please. Yeah, nice black and white treatment. Lots of detail in those waves. That's great. Crashing up onto the pier there as well. It's a pier or a breakwater or whatever. That's quite nice. Quite nice lighting. It looks quite stormy, doesn't it? And bits of the waves are still in the air there. Quite a fast shutter speed. The common way of doing this sort of shot these days is to have your 10 times filter on there. You leave big stopper on your camera, isn't it? And have the sea sort of silky smooth, so there's no features at all. But I think this works really well. I like the movement of the waves. You can almost imagine the waves and the sound that you get from the waves crashing against that man-made structure. Nice to have a bit of detail in the background as well, and I like the black and white treatment. Would like to see something else though. You know, I would like to see maybe someone on the edge of here. You know, maybe somebody on a bike, or you know, somebody fishing off the end. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this, you know, the sea's, you know, it's breaking up on here, but it's not all that, you know, rough, is it? And you know, I'm sure fishermen go out in this time of day. Yeah, yeah. But you know, I think personally, I think the picture just needs. It's a great picture, but it just needs something else. And I would like to see something on here, or something right on the end. Maybe you know, somebody on a bike, or somebody fishing, or doing a couple kissing. You know, anything, just to lift the picture, and that would have been a stunner. As it is, it's a perfectly, you know, well exposed image. It's sharp. I like the black and white treatment. On all my pictures, and this is not something, you know, but it's what I do. This isn't necessarily right, but on all of my images like this, I put a vignette around the outside, so I darken the edges of it, and that tends to bring the eye into the main, you know, part of the image, and that works really well for me. Give it a go sometime. And it also would tone down some of this bright sky up here, because your eye gets drawn to this bright area in the sky. And if it was mine, I'd tone this down, maybe put a little filter on there, just tone down that corner. Yeah, nice image. In terms of the score, 17, please. I can never tell whether these, you know, it probably is a trumpet, I don't know, but I get mixed up between trumpets and cornets and, you know, all these different types of things. Probably is a trumpet, actually. Yeah, interesting perspective. You don't see many of this sort of picture in competitions. Lots of detail in the instrument in the guy's hand here. I think it is a man holding this. Or is it? He's sticking it a little bit shiny, don't they? But I like the red treatment as well. It's unusual. I don't know whether that was the natural ambient lighting in the nightclub or wherever it was taken, but it's certainly given it a nice red treatment. Red's a very strong colour in photography, as you know, and this works quite well. If it was mine, I think I'd tone down this area here because that just catches the eye, and I don't think you need that. You could have maybe cloned out these two white areas here because they detract from the main subject here. But this is fine. It's a reflection of the instrument, which is great. But these two, that's probably his shirt, I would imagine, or his jacket, I think. Yes, it looks like his collar and his shirt maybe. And you know, if it was mine, I would have toned them down. But yeah, well seen. Good angle, nice tight picture, and it works really well. I don't think we'll be holding it back, but it's a good shot, and I do like it. Turns the score 18, please. Right, Dexter, one of my favourite TV programs. Love Dexter. Yeah, so we have two German Shepherds here, haven't we? And yeah, great to see them looking at the camera. That's great. You've caught them really well in the frame. And yeah, lots of detail. If this is the same photographer, I don't know. It could be possibly. I think the single German Shepherd running the second one that we saw, I think that was a stronger picture. This is good. On this one, you've chopped his ear off the top, and that's really a no-no, unfortunately. Shoot wide and shoot for the crop. So take the picture really wide when you take it, and then you can crop it in the camera. You've got a second opportunity of composing the picture when you get it into the computer. Yeah, nice image, but not as strong as the other ones, unfortunately. But great that they're looking at the camera, and it's nice how you can almost see them panting, can't you? You've got a long tongue hanging out, which is great. Beautiful expressions. Just not sure about that. I don't think it's as strong as the single one. In terms of the score, 17, please. Yeah, beautiful lighting on the teasel. These are beautiful plants, aren't they? You see them by the roadsides, and they are very, very popular in photographic competitions. Saw one the other day where there was, I think, 3 or 4 of these in a row. But the lighting, just like this one, was really nice. Nice side lighting. It's almost a halo, the spines around the teasel are almost sort of lit up around the outside. And you've got this lovely detail with a soft green and all of these patterns on the teasel itself. I like the way it's framed in the picture. It almost looks like a spider, doesn't it? With these legs coming up here, you can almost see a spider there. And it's nice that the way you've got the background out of focus here. Beautiful side light, and we'll hold this one back, please. Tintersfield. Yeah, beautiful old building, isn't it? And it's very difficult to capture this amount of detail when you're also including the exterior of the property as well. So you've got this outdoor area here, and we see that there's some features here. They look like trees and bits of stuff over here. But we see these plants, look like ivy or something, growing on the outside of the property. And we've got, we can see the detail of the wall as well. So you've got this lovely lamp here, this showing this beautiful light. And we've got some detail of this old chair with bits hanging off it, and some old furniture over here. So it's well done the way you've controlled the light to not overexpose the exterior, and yet retain lots of the detail within the building itself. Personally, I think it's a bit tightly cropped. I would have liked to have seen more of the furniture. I would have liked to have seen this sitting on the old carpet or the floorboards or whatever it was. I think having it cropped there, for me, is a bit of a shame, and I would have liked to have seen a bit more detail in this wooden piece of furniture here. Now, it's probably a deep shadow, and that's where you're struggling, because you've got the light coming through here, and you've got this in deep shadow, and that's when it's very, very tricky. I mean, you've got, you know, detail here, although there's no detail there because you've got heavy shadows there. But, you know, you've done a pretty good job. I just would have liked to see more of that old property. And I think I would have liked to have seen a wider shot, because that furniture is probably more interesting than some of the other stuff that we see here. But I do like this lamp here in the ceiling. That's great. It would be nice actually to see, you know, the wire holding it down. You know, wouldn't it? I think that would add, if you could see the wire holding it down instead of just, you know, just the bulb and the bulb holder there. Just a wider shot, I think, would have improved it. But still a very, very pleasing shot. Maybe you could have brought out some of these details in your software. Right, in terms of mark, I think I'd go with 17 for this one, please. Oh, right. Yeah, this is the new structure, I would imagine, that the Reading Station has spent millions on it, and which is great. Never seen it myself yet. Very rarely go to Reading these days. But yeah, it's interesting subject. I don't know whether it's black and white treatment or whether this is the actual colour, because there's no actual colour in there. There might be a tad of sort of a beigey colour here. So, you know, I'm confused as to whether this is a mono black and white treatment, or it's, you know, it was shot in colour. There seems to be a bit of sort of bluey, greeny colour up here as well. But, you know, looking at it, I would imagine this was going to be a strong blue, or it would be colour, and maybe you just desaturated the image to give it some impact. And it's nice the way you've got sort of a V shape here. You've been almost giving a sign to the judge. Interesting angle, but for me it really isn't interesting enough, unfortunately. 15, please. Big tulip, yeah. Nicely done. Yeah, quite nice lighting. Love the water on the petals. And it's nice the way this front petal has fallen over, so you can actually see the water drops that you've sprayed on it with your sprayer. Yeah. Perhaps I'm being about there. Maybe it was a rainstorm and you've gone up there with your camera and taking pictures. That's great, yeah. But it's always nice to see these water droplets, isn't it? And what a beautiful colour this tulip is. It's a lovely pink shade. Lots of detail. No bright highlights. Pin sharp. And you've done a very, very nice job, I think. I love the surroundings as well. Nice green foliage around the tulip, and that just sets off the thing, doesn't it? It's a nice balance. It's a lovely picture. Yeah. I think we'll hold that one back, please. Tying up. Yeah, they're so colourful, these narrowboats, aren't they? And the swans. Look at the swans. Yeah, beautiful. The guy's pulling it in. He must be just arriving, so he's tying it up for the night. And it costs a fortune to park up on the lock these days, I think. Lots of colour there. Quite nice lighting actually, and it looks like you've given it a bit of a glow, haven't you? It looks sort of as if there's a glow being added to the picture. Maybe not, but certainly the swans look like they've got a bit of a glow on them, and that's good when you have really high bright sunlight on a white object. It's nice to give it a bit of glow, because the light can be so fierce sometimes. I'm just looking at the image, and I think you're a bit tight here, aren't you? It would have been nice to, maybe get rid of some of this, which I'm not really too interested in. These are great. The guy is great. The boat is great, but I just would have liked to have seen that edge, unfortunately. There's something going on up here. I'm not sure why that line is there. Is that maybe a reflection or something? I don't know. Maybe you didn't have your lens hood on, or it looks like some light area up here that sort of bothers me a bit. I would have tended to tone that down, and maybe just get rid of that there. When you're looking at an image, always look around the edge very light areas. So that area I would have toned that down, and that area here, and certainly this area here, it looks false. It looks like there's a problem there, and I don't know whether it's maybe light going into your lens, or you didn't have a lens hood, or what. You've got this nice glow on this one, which is great. Lovely scene. I think it could have been better if people had seen more of this. Maybe a bit of the canal as well, or the river. At some stage, just cropping it out because we don't need that at the top, do we? But the interesting part is here, and that's what we're looking at. Looking at the curtains and the net curtains behind them, interesting, isn't it? And yeah, I quite like that picture. I think we'll hold that one back, please. Yeah, this looks like the fourth bridge, isn't it? Could be wrong, but I think it is. Yes, you're up in Scotland on your holidays, and of course it's raining, isn't it? You've just been waiting for the day. You thought you'd go and see the Forth Road Bridge, and of course it's chucking it down with rain. But of course that gives you some opportunity. You've got this beautiful wet pavement here, and all these lovely reflections on the pavement. I saw a fantastic picture yesterday on the internet. It was a UK photographer, and he was taking pictures in New York City in a rainstorm, and he had this picture of this guy coming, and you couldn't see his face, but he had the umbrella over his head, and all the lights of the taxi cabs and everything were in the background. And it's just great. You can get some fantastic pictures on a horrible, wet, rainy day. If you use your imagination, and I think the photographer here has done a really good job. You've got some nice detail in the foreground here. You've got some lovely detail in the pavement here, and you've got the bridge in the background, and even this lampstand of this, it just sits nicely on that third. If I was taking a picture of the Forth Bridge, though, I think I would have preferred it if we could see all of the bridge. You've got this part here, but the bridge itself is quite important. And I really would have I would have preferred to have seen, the end of that curve there, just going onto there. I think I would have made it stronger, personally. And if that meant cropping this side, I think we could have got rid of this dark area here. See this dark area here? I would have maybe just cropped it down here to get rid of that. If we'd had some more of this detail in the picture. And I think it would have been balanced better as well, because you've got a heavy area here, and to have some more of this element over here, I think it would have balanced probably better in the frame. But it's a very nice image. I do like the black and white effect as well. The black and white really does well on a wet, horrible day with overcast sky and everything. So yeah, really nice job. I don't think we'll hold this one back though, but it's a really nice picture. 17, please. Red sky, 9, yeah. Yeah, we've seen a few of those this summer. And this is taken after the sun has gone down, maybe a few minutes after the sun has gone down, where you get this beautiful red sky. And you've got this lovely tree in the picture as well. And you've got all this vegetation on the bottom. Like the picture we saw earlier, this suffers from the fact that we can't see where the picture ends here. I really cannot see. Maybe there, perhaps, but you've really got to strain your eyes to see where the picture starts and ends, and that's a bit of a disappointment for me. Lovely sky though, beautiful sky, but it's a red sky, isn't it? And I think it just needs something else. Maybe a plane, going, flying off somewhere, or a moon, or some geese flying off there, and that would have made it so much more interesting. It's a beautiful red sky, but I think it just needs something else in the picture to catch our attention, personally. That's only my personal view, but lovely red sky. In terms of a mark, 15, please. Beach hut beauties. Who's doing the spelling on this? Anybody notice? Right, okay. Yeah, lovely, colourful beach shots, aren't they? And it's something I've tried tried to get, and I've not had much luck getting beach huts. I was down in North Devon in the summer, and they had a big line of these, but I just didn't have the time, just didn't have the opportunity to go and take the picture of them. But this one is great, and I found this one's quite unusual in as much as the beach huts are not lined up, are they? They're a bit higgledy-piggledy, which is quite unusual, isn't it? Normally they're in a dead straight line, and they've got a walkway in front, and everything is regimented. But here they're all over the place, aren't they? Which is great, really. Just adds a bit more interest to it. And here you've got a guy sitting on his chair here. Looks like he's probably got a vest on, doesn't it? I can't really see from here, but it looks like he's got a vest on it. It's a white shirt anyway. And you can just imagine, it's down in Topton or somewhere, and he's sitting there with his vest on by his beach hut, which he's paid £20,000 for or something, which they do cost a fortune, don't they? But the colours are nice, and even though you've got a quite a harsh light, it's not too bad because you've held back the whites here, so it's not burned out. You've got some shadows here, and you've lost a bit of detail in the shadow. It's always best if you have shadows to see at least some of the detail, and sometimes if you've got the technology, you can bring that back in the computer. But yeah, nice picture. If it had been mine, I think I would have cropped it from the bottom a bit. The sand it does give some interest, but I don't think we need all of that interest because it's the beach huts and the guy. The guy is sitting in a perfect position. He's not slap bang in the middle. He's off to the side a bit, so that's great. I think I would have just maybe cropped a bit of the sand off, and maybe even a bit of the sky. Of course, it would have been fantastic if you had some white clouds in here, wouldn't it? It would have just given you a bit more interest in the scene, and you should always look for that. But yeah, you've done a good job. You've shot away. You haven't shot directly into the sun either. Sometimes if you get a scene like this, the sun is probably over here somewhere, judging by the shadows. So sometimes you're shooting actually into the sun, and that can give you some really horrible effects. So shooting, the way you have, almost from the side, 90 degrees, it gives you a really nice effect. Nice picture. Should I hold it back? I don't think it's as strong as some of the others, but it's a really nice picture. 18, please. It's yeah, very colourful, these pictures, aren't they? I've not been to one of these shows myself. One of these motorcycle, or it could be bicycle. I can't really. Are they bicycles? Yeah, they're bicycles, aren't they? It's something I'm not really photographed myself, but yeah, very colourful. Love the helmets on here. This guy Smith Optics. He's got his Union Jacks on here. Is this Smith Optics as well? No, it's something else, isn't it? But he's got the same logo on here, and yeah, Lion, I think it is, maybe, I don't know. But nice red and white colours. When you go to these events, though, it's always extremely difficult to take a photograph of your main subject without a lot of distraction. Usually there's lots of adverts or poles or these yellow tapes or whatever. But here you've got quite a good scene here without too much distraction. Okay, you've got this fence here. Maybe if you'd got a bit higher, you would have been shooting down, and you might have avoided that. You've also got these fence posts in the back here, which is a bit of a distraction. But it's the position of the riders in the frame is nice, so you've got this space for them to effectively go into. I would have liked to have seen more detail of their face, though, and if they'd both been looking up. So these are probably at the starting post, the starting gate of the race, when everybody's sort of getting ready to go to work on their pedals. And if you can, just wait for the moment. It's not the scene of the two riders. It's the moment. It's what they're actually doing. It's the expression on their face, or maybe the way they hold the handlebars. That's the moment you need to try and catch in all of these pictures. And I think it just lacks something. It's colourful. You've got the guys, but this guy looking down, he's probably looking at his pedals. Maybe his foot slipped off or something. But you've done a good job, and I think I would have just waited a bit to get a better expression, a better a better feeling of what they're trying to do. 16, please. These are us, yeah. Yeah, what a lovely scene that, isn't it? Beautiful. Lovely mountains. Beautiful lake. And you've got your girlfriend. What a lucky guy. Or is it two women? I can't see women. I must get my eyes tested. But yeah, what a lovely scene, isn't it? What a lovely scene. It's probably, Canada or somewhere. I don't know. It could be anywhere, couldn't it? It could be in Colorado. No, that Colorado doesn't look like that. It could be Switzerland or somewhere. But probably Canada, I would think. I don't know. Could be wrong. Doesn't matter. But it's a beautiful scene. Now you've gone here, you've maybe got the train or you've driven or you're on a coast trip or whatever. And you get there at 11 o'clock in the morning, so you get your camera out, and by the time you get set up it's midday or 1 o'clock, and it's obviously the worst time of the day to take pictures because the sun is directly ahead. You've got deep, heavy shadows on your subjects, and that's just the way it is. Holiday type pictures are very, very challenging because you're unlucky with the time of day. The light here is very harsh, which means that the overall scene it's almost washed out, isn't it? You've got this beautiful vegetation here, beautiful sky, but look how pale it is, and you've got sort of a mist here. If you'd had, side lighting, if you were there early morning or late afternoon, the lighting on here would have been so much better. Nevertheless, it's a beautiful scene, and you did well to capture it. And it's always best to have, people in the scene here. It's great. If it had been mine, I would have preferred to have the people round about here, on this third here, rather than slap bang in the middle. That's my own personal preference. But it's a lovely, lovely scene. You've taken it well. You've done a really good job. It's just the lighting, really makes it struggle a bit. You need really, really good lighting to win competitions usually. In terms of mark, it's a very, very nice picture. I don't think we'll hold it back. In terms of mark, 18, please. To the rescue. Right, lots of stuff going on here. I wonder who took this picture. Could be wrong. But yeah, it's good. I mean, this is a very action scene. Or are these people standing still and you've zoomed the lens? I don't know. Or have you done it in Photoshop with the one of the filters? I don't know. But you've taken out the colour of the image. The colour would have been a very strong element here. I would imagine these jackets would have been probably bright yellow or a bright colour anyway, and the vehicle would have had black and yellow stripes or something. So you've taken out all the colour, and it looks like they're cutting this is it the A panel on this vehicle here? So they're getting someone out of this wrecked car, I imagine. That's sort of the story I'm getting from it. So it's quite an action-packed image. It looks like almost this looks like a grass bank or something, but the image itself looks like it could be done in a warehouse. It looks like it's being done indoors, but probably not. It's probably outdoors. Looking at this sort of vegetation over here, or what appears to be vegetation. Yeah, that's obviously the focal point here. You've really got a town with this zoom feature, which is fine, and I like to see something. When we do this function, I like to see something that's quite sharp. I guess this is the main point of the picture, and it isn't really as sharp as it might have been, but it's still quite a nice image. But we won't hold it back, unfortunately. 17, please. Right, now this is much better picture of the German Shepherd than the other one. You've got him off the ground. He's got 3 of his paws off the ground. You've got him, in motion. He's much sharper than the other one was, which is great. We're actually looking into his eyes. You've got some nice lighting on his eyes, and we've got room for him to run into. So you've got a wider shot, which is much better than the other one. So this is a much stronger image, I think. The colours are beautiful. muted colours, but you do have some nice highlighting on the edge, sort of rim lighting on the back of its coat here, on its tail, on its legs here, which is great. So if you can get some lighting coming from behind to light up these areas, that's great. It looks like you might have even used a flash, I don't know, but if I was taking this picture of a dog, I probably would use a flash actually, because with the light coming from behind over here somewhere, you know, strong sunlight, normally this would be, you know, really very dark, but you've got all the detail in there. Look at that red cross on there. See how sharp it is. You can see it. And you can see all the detail in the fur there. So it's a much better job than the other one. And yeah, you've done really well with this one. I think we'll hold this one back, please.
Do you want to do one more and then have a break?
Yeah. Okay. This was Greek Cottage, isn't it? Yeah, Greek Cottage, yeah. Yeah, Greek Cottage, there's some great opportunities in Greece. I was in Greece in the summer, and there's some fantastic old buildings, you know, with old doors and old windows and everything, and the people are great as well, you know. Old ladies with lines on their faces and everything. There's some beautiful young people as well, as it happens. And they do have the knack of making their pretty grim homes, and these are pretty small places, but they tarp them up and they put flower pots on the outside and just to brighten them up, and they use colour very well. Even that window frame over there, it's not painted, you know, black or white. It's given a nice different colour, so an orangey shade here, and yeah, it's a nice picture. Unfortunately, the light again is very harsh, isn't it? You know, all this white up here, really heavy shadows here. So it's almost midday, isn't it? And that's not it's not the ideal time to take this sort of picture. You've got heavy shadow here. Probably somebody's head, I would imagine, is casting a shadow there, or it could be, I think it's probably somebody's head. Maybe even the photographer's head. And I don't know what this is here. It almost looks like a person there, doesn't it? It could be just a tree or something, just a feature on that tree, or whatever it is here. Yeah, it's a nice shot of a cottage with some nice colour in there, nice detail of the flowers, but the lighting really is not your friend here, I'm afraid. And I personally, I think it's a bit tight. You know, I feel I would like to see more of the cottage, and you know, maybe even a bit more of this here. Maybe it's just the way your camera is set up. But a squarer image to show more detail would have been better. That's what I think. In terms of score, 14, please.
Okay, should we have a break now?
Yeah, we'll have a break now. Thanks very much. Well, ladies and gents, break for coffee, tea, biscuit, down in the kitchen, help yourselves. Don't know where the toilets are. Anybody not know where the toilets are now? Been here a few weeks now, but they're just down by the kitchen as well. Boy. First time I've ever heard a judge say he needs his oysters. As a favourite. And it would have been much better in a landscape format. But, you know, very pleasant scene. Just let down by this, you know, these, and I think you've got too much foreground personally. But lovely subdued colours. 18 please. Right, okay. Shall we run through them first, please? 10, is it? How are we doing for time? We're about 5 to 10. You're okay, Alan? Yeah. Yeah, lovely picture, this one. Do like this one. Love the colours, you know, nice saturated colours. Like the lighting around, you've got nice lighting around the hair. Just a pity about this guy here. I would have liked to have seen his arm here, but maybe just a bit of space round here. The rest of it is fine. Do like it. 19, please. Yeah. Like this one again. Lovely sunrise, and it's nice that you've got this tree here. I do like these figures as well here. I just feel that the bottom here could have been cropped, and I think that would have given you a stronger image. Another 19, please. Yeah, I think this is a great image. This is a definite 20 for me, please. As is this one, I think this is flawless. I think it's really well done. Another 20, please. Yeah. Yeah, I like this image. I don't think it's as strong as some of the others, so it's another 19, please. Almost there. Yeah, this is good. I think this is really good as well. It's sharp. You've got the guy. He's sort of looking lovely rim light, nice and sharp. You've got the space in front. That's another 20, please. First time lucky, eh? Going on stone. Yeah, it's a lovely image, yeah. Lovely image. Really sharp, lovely background. You know, being nitpicky, you know, this is a bit of a distraction, but it's very, very small. I think it's such a stunning image. It's another 20 for me, please. This is a definite 20 as well. It's got so much power. It's different. It's creative. It's got all the elements, including this either flower or a fruit down here, which is great. Yeah, I love that one. 20, please. These looks nice. I love the lighting on it. Go on, another 20, please. Lovely picture. Yeah, this is nice as well. But it's a 19 for me, please.
Do you need the lights on?
Just while we're doing that, don't forget to pick up your memory sticks and bring them back in next week with your lucky dip categories on. I hope everybody's going to have a go. Should make an interesting evening. Yeah, prints or DPIs. Two, one of each or whatever you like.
The prints are all DPI, or both, is that?
Well, yeah, one or the other. You can have one print, one DPI, or two and two.
Well, you can bring prints on, well, fair enough. You're like a lucky dip, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's all right.
Yeah, whatever you prefer.
That's handy,
And it's 2 images, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So we saw some great images tonight. Congratulations to all the ones that got 20. And congratulations to the person with the outstation. keep on trying here. It's not normally a very good idea to put, similar images into a competition though. I don't know whose images there were.
Well, that Patson got two of the brothers, well.
Which one? Yeah.
He got a silly grin on his face.
They were Mr. Chairman's images the other day.
Hey,
Were they?
don't give things away.
I didn't know that.
Just while we're getting the scores ready then, if we just show appreciation for Tony for coming along the He's coming along so much these days, I think we'll have to make him remember.
I never heard any boos, but I'm sure some of you are mumbling under your breath. I didn't agree
Thank
with
Keith
that.
for projecting the images tonight. And Marianne for doing the scoring.
Do I need to read them out, or do you want to read them off the info? Can we go through them on the pictures of the thing?
It's just after 10 o'clock now, so...
Yeah. I'll read down my list, shall I?
Well, we can just go through that one. We're just doing the slideshow, come to the marks as well, I think.
If you want to, yeah. Doesn't tell us who they are, though, does it? down the totals.
Do you want me to do that now? Yeah.
I've said you had to.
Okay, quick one then. Carl, 53, Dave Patterson, 58, David Sherwell, 54, Dorothy, 49, Gerda, 47, Graham, 53, Janet, 46, Keith Bosher, 50, Keith Hull, 50, Mike, 52, myself, 48, Mark Stokes, 47, Richard, 45, Roland, 53, and Sheila, 47. So that means in third place there were 3 people. That's Roland, Graham, and Carl with 53 points. So well done, you 3. And in second place with 54 points is David Sherwell. So well done. But in first place with 58 points, Harry lost 2 points. It's Dave Patterson.
That's the polish there, boy.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you very much.
So your red wall with the steps, that was a cracking picture, wasn't it? So simple and yet so powerful, wasn't it?
What do we have, about 15
Do you
people?
want me to read out the
entered?
20? Do you want me to read out the 20s, or did you make a note of them when you were looking at them?
Read, mate.
Macon, Bacon, Carl,
Cracking
Dave
picture.
Patterson, Morgan, and Steph. Mick coming to get you, myself with the teasel, and Roland with herring on the stump.
Well done.
Those of you who, I know Sheila, the first time they entered the competition, wasn't that bad, was it?
No. And you've done well.
There you go.
So which were your images tonight then, Sheila?
Sorry?
Which were your images tonight?
Teasels, which was
Teasels.
very good, wasn't it?
No, the Catkins.
Catkins,
was
right.
Oh, the Catkins, yeah.
Sorry, not the
The
teasels.
reflection,
Reflection.
the trees in the back, the trees in the back.
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
And then
That was
the
nice.
trees
It was nice, yeah.
and the blue
Mhm.
thing.
And the spring
One
cat.
Canal bar?
Canal bar, that was a nice picture.
Yeah.
Could you see how you just chop it? Yeah, yeah. So just shoot wire.
But as I was saying earlier, most of the images were handed in on the night that you came to talk to us about.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't have much
yeah,
I know.
So,
change for your
you know, it's something to go into the next competition
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
but it really would like to see more people entering competitions and make more fun of it.
Try to take pictures of something interesting, you know, because if it's not
Not just
interesting,
dogs.
you're not gonna excite anyone. You're not gonna excite the audience,
Yeah.
are you? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
What do you want, Michael, what do you want on those prints?
We're going to put them in the cupboard.
We're gonna put them in the
Shall we
cupboard?
speak?
Yeah?
Who's coming, Julie?
Do you want to?
You didn't enter anything that's unusual for you. Well, that's my only question that I
To go with these points.
And then draw the line.
If we go to right, we can put them back on the picture and
You're an expert right now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
if you put a brand new telephone in, and you go again over the same area, it'll add to the original.
So it's your side.
Yeah, I've done it, Alan. David.
Hello. Can I share something?
When do you go in, David? When do you go in?